First, the noise hits you, kind of like a disco, but without the beat. Then the size of the place. Makes you feel like one of the Lilliputians in Gulliver's Travels. Then the heat. So intense that when you get close, it's like the burning sun at high noon. But there's no sun in here, only furnaces, fired as high as 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. We're in a steel mill, the Sparrows Point plant of Bethlehem Steel on the Patapsco River, right outside of downtown Baltimore. Many different kinds of steel are made here, but today we're spotlighting the hot strip mills, where they roll tin plate. That's the stuff which becomes the base for your average tin can. We'll be looking at this process step by step through the eyes of steel rougher Bob Pulaski. He's worked here at Sparrows Point for the past 34 years.
Hello, John. Hi, buddy. How's everything? All right, Bob.
Before he begins his shift, he checks in with the early man, little John Kennedy, to find out if everything has been going according to schedule.
Everything running all right?
Yeah. Change number 5 at 678.
Got a good schedule, ain't it?
Oh, yeah.
Bob began working for Bethlehem Steel when he got out of the Navy in 1946.
I've earned a good living down there, and I still do. I had steady employment, especially when I came out of the service. Things were booming. And I think I was only laid off for maybe 2 weeks the most, since I've been with them 34 years.
We said that Bob is called a rougher. That means he works on the roughing mills. His responsibility is the rollers, which squeeze the steel to just the right thickness, or should I say thinness. You see, these 10-ton slabs start out 7 1/2 inches thick, but after coming out of the roughing mills, they've been reduced to a much longer and thinner consistency. We'll let the expert, Mr. Pulaski, explain.
The slabs come from the slab yard. They're put in a furnace, which is approximately 90 feet long. As they're dumped out of a furnace, we have a pulpit operator. He decides when he wants a slab out of a furnace. He'll relay a signal to a discharger, which is a man that opens the door, and they'll shove a slab out. And it'll go down to what we call the big edger. When it goes into the big edger, it squeezes it to break the scale off, to break it up. As it leaves the big edgers, it approaches high-pressure descaling spray. That cleans the scale off the slab.
Okay, this is where the slab goes through the roughing and finishing mills. And each time it passes through a different set of rollers, it becomes longer and thinner than the time before, until the slab that started out 7 1/2 inches thick and less than 22 feet long eventually ends up as thin as 1/16 of an inch and 360 feet long. And all this happens in less than 3 minutes.
We can do 60 an hour. That's a slab a minute. It's a little hard to do it, but we can do it. Everybody gets their heart into it, you know, and nothing happens.
But occasionally, something does happen.
The more stock that you have, the slower the mill will go. The thinner you want to make it, you have to speed that mill up. If you don't, you get high loops, which we call a cobble.
A cobble. That's what it's called when the smooth sheet accidentally folds itself into a wrinkled mass of metal.
We run the cobble back, and after we get it back far enough that we feel it'll get a loop in it, you know, then we go ahead and tell the crane operator to take it up and pull it on.
The work must stop. A crane is brought in to haul the huge scalding snake from the line so the roughing process can start all over again with a new slab.
When they get squared away down the other end and everything's all right, they'll go ahead, turn the mills over, blow up for a slab, throw a green light in, and go like hell if you can.
But when the work goes well, when carloads of cold slag are transformed into coiled ribbons of steel, when the intense heat and mighty muscle of industry are brought to bear, there's a certain beauty, a certain art to it all, when seen with an imaginative eye. We'll be right back with our PM Magazine department.